Thank you all so much for coming to listen to my talk. And thank you, Kara, so much for moderating this and for being the moderator throughout the day. Cannot express enough gratitude for all of the work that you have done for us today. Hi, hello, my name is Valorie Lewis. I am a channel, a psychic medium, and a tarot and oracle card reader. And today I'm talking about manifestation, specifically stop negotiating with reality from hoping to having. I want to very briefly ask for some audience participation. If you hear something that resonates with you, you can give me a reaction. We do what's called a hand waggle. That lets me know that we're jiving and we're on the same page. Or you can put something over in chat. Also, if you have questions that come up, put them over in chat. We'll get to them at the end. But let's jump right in because we have a short time together today. So stop negotiating with reality from hoping to having. So let me jump right in and start with saying something real honest and a little bit uncomfortable for many of us. Most people are not stuck because their manifestation isn't working. They're stuck because they are negotiating with reality. And the tricky part is that negotiation has been dressed up to look really spiritual. So it looks like patience. It looks like surrender. It looks like trust. But energetically, what it sounds like is, I want this thing, but I don't fully trust myself to have it yet. And reality responds to what you trust, not what you want. So manifestation was never meant to be a negotiation. It was meant to be a collaboration. So we're going to talk about some of the top ways. I've got about 4 that we negotiate with reality. So maybe you can become a little bit more self-aware and spot it when you're doing it. So let's talk about one of the most common ways that we negotiate with reality, which is hoping or hope. Hope sounds sweet. Hope sounds harmless. Hope sounds hella spiritual. Sounds like you're being really positive. And hope in and of itself is not a bad thing. I hope you all had a wonderful day with all of your readings today. I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow. If you're in a period of despair and you move into hope, that's a great thing. But when you take hope and you attach it to your manifestation path, that's when things get a little tricky, and that's when you start negotiating. Hope is not neutral when it comes to manifestation. Hope says, this isn't mine yet. Hope has the energy of, I'll relax when something outside of myself changes, or I'm just going to sit and watch and see what happens. Hope keeps your desire close enough for you to still want it, but far enough away that doubt is able to creep in. You see this when people talk about their money all the time. So let's put this in real world terms. I hope my income increases. I hope I get that promotion. I hope clients find me. I've said that myself a couple of times. I hope something shifts soon. Hope watches life instead of stepping into it. And reality does not respond to watchers and spectators. Reality responds to participation. So instead of saying, I hope this works out as you move through life, I want you to shift and try saying, not try. I want you to shift and say it. I'm going to tell you what to say. I'm not going to tell you to try it. If you want to manifest the way that you say you want to manifest, then stop saying, I hope this works out, and start saying, this is already unfolding. And I'm moving as someone who is involved in the co-creation. This does not ask you to blindly trust or to have blind optimism, but that it does ask and require of you directional certainty. Hope leans back and says, I'm not sure, whereas knowing leans forward, full in, and becomes an involved participant in the manifestation. So let's talk about the second way that a lot of people commonly negotiate, and that is waiting for spiritual signs. Now, I'm right there in the forefront of, I love me a spiritual sign. I love him. I love him. I ask for him and I love him. But again, when we attach waiting, I didn't say spiritual signs. I said waiting for a spiritual sign to our manifestation practices, then we get into trouble. Then we start negotiating. I'm waiting for a sign to tell me before I move and do this thing. I want confirmation first before I take the next step or before I take this action. Or I'll know when it's time. I'm just going to wait. I'll know when it's time. Here's the part most people don't love hearing. If you're always waiting for signs, you're avoiding authorship. Because a sign lets you say, it wasn't me. I never got the go ahead. Wasn't my fault. I was waiting for spirit to tell me. And it takes all of the authority, all of the self out of your hands and puts it out there somewhere, someone else's fault, someone else's responsibility. Because waiting feels safer, but it also freezes reality and freezes your manifestations. Waiting energy says, I move second. And reality replies, well, then you're always going to be reacting. And when it comes to manifestations, we do not want to be reactionary. We want to be creation. We want to be the creator. So you'll see this idea of waiting for signs in relationships. Let's talk about how it shows up in relationships. You might not say this, but energetically you're projecting this. I'll open up once I feel safe. Once this person shows me that I can trust them, that's when I'll open up and give them my heart. Or I'll commit once I know for sure that this is the person that I'm supposed to commit for. Once they show me a sign, then I will act. It's the cart before the horse. In business, it sounds like I'll launch when I'm ready. I'll raise my prices once it feels aligned. That is something that we hear all the time. I'm waiting for the alignment and then I'll raise my prices. How could that not be spiritual, Valorie? I think you told me to do that 2 years ago. Listen, I'm learning new stuff all the time. And I'm trying to tell you what I know right now. Okay, so just listen. Don't be holding me to what I said 2 years ago. But that idea of I'll raise prices once it feels aligned is still negotiating with spirit. Reality reacts to and mirrors posture. Hesitation, however, invites delay. So where are you in that realm? Here's a way to reframe that. Instead of saying, I'm waiting for a sign before I act, shift to, I move first and reality responds. Signs follow commitment. They don't precede it. So we don't wait for a sign in order to act. We act and then we receive the sign as confirmation, as support that, yes, you took the step. Yes, I'm with you. Yes, I'm supporting you. But we're not saying I can't move until I get the sign. We are moving and looking for the signs along the way. How are you going to see the sign that says, take the next exit in Albuquerque if you refuse to leave your driveway? So it's the idea of you need to be in motion, headed towards that destination, and you will see the signs along the way that are going to keep you on your path. You are not here to be convinced that it is your time to move. You are here to initiate that movement and then wait for spirit to support you. So the third way that we negotiate with reality and try to get our way from life. This one is a big one. We do it all the time. Outsourcing authority to our guides. I ask my guides to give me the thing that I wanted. I'm waiting for clarity on this manifestation step. I'm waiting. I don't know if I'm meant to have this, so I'm sure my guides will tell me. Let me say this clearly and very lovingly. Your guides are not your managers. If they were, they would be called spirit managers. They are called spirit guides. They are not the decision-making committee. They do not have a say if you get this or you get that. They don't step in to run your life. They step in to support your authority once you claim it. So when you keep asking your guides instead of choosing, what you're really saying is, I don't trust myself yet. I don't trust myself. I trust my guides, so I'm just going to turn it over to them. That's spiritual. I'm connected. Not when it comes to manifestation, because your guides will never override your sovereignty. They will step back not as punishment when it comes to your manifestations, but as an invitation for you to step forward. So when I channel, I try to help people bring their authority back to themselves. Your guides are meant to help you. Your guides are meant to support you. Your guides are going to walk the path with you, but your guides are waiting for you to take the step forward. Just take the first step so they know what to support, so they know where you're trying to go. They're not going to tell you what to do with your life because that is not their job. So, clarity does not come before choice. Write that one down. You need to choose first and then get clarity as far as what to do next. Clarity does not come before choice, it comes because of it. When you make a choice, then the clarity will show up. So instead of saying, I'm asking my guides what to do next, which many of us do, I want you all to start saying, I choose, and my guides support that choice. I decide, and then I ask my guides to help support the decision that I have made. That is co-creation. That is partnership. And that is power returning to you. Let's talk about the fourth way that people negotiate. It's another big one. It's a big spiritual buzzword called surrender. Now let's clean up surrender because this has been wildly misunderstood when it comes to the spiritual realm. People say, I'm surrendering. People say, let go and let God. People say, I'm detaching from this thing because this thing isn't coming or this thing is challenging or any variation of that. Frequently, a lot of people say when this thing that they're asking for hasn't come into their life, well, it must not be meant for me. I'm just going to surrender this hope, this wish, this dream because it's not coming. So I'm going to let go. And a lot of people think that that is what surrender means and that they're doing some big spiritual act. But energetically, what they're doing is when they surrender, they're bracing themselves. They're saying they're shrinking their desires. They're numbing the want. And they're pretending that they don't really care or they don't really want the thing anymore, just in case it doesn't work out. So I'm going to throw this thing in here called surrender because everybody in the spiritual community says surrender is a good thing. It is, but it's being misapplied. So let's talk about what is the positive and the beneficial way to apply surrender. Saying that I really don't care and I'm just not going to worry about it anymore. That's not surrender. That's emotional self-protection. I'm going to brace myself against disappointment and I'm going to call it surrender. True surrender does not mean that you give up on the desire because desires are divine gifts. So we don't want to give up on those. True surrender means giving up the fight with the reality about how it arrives. That's surrender in the positive aspect. You don't abandon the vision. You don't give up on the hope, the dream, the wish, the aspiration, but you stop gripping the steering wheel in a panic. It has to go this way. And you release the idea of how it shows up, but you still hold on to the fact that it is going to show up. So in order to reframe this, when you go into this idea of surrender, instead of saying, I'm going to let go of this desire because it isn't coming, so it's not meant for me, I want you to shift to, I release control over how this has to show up. That's your surrender. But I do not give up on my intention or my desire or my want. Surrender is relaxed certainty. I know this thing is coming, so I can release my grip on how it shows up, but it is not withdrawal. It is not saying I don't want to play the game anymore. So we've talked about some of the top ways that people negotiate with reality and how you can get off track and kind of off in the weeds with it. There are many other ways that people negotiate with reality, some that are a lot more subtle, but those are the big hitters, the heavy hitters that I feel are most present for a lot of us right now in life. So what do you do if you're not negotiating? What's the opposite of negotiating? Commanding. So let's talk about what commanding is. Commanding reality does not mean you are controlling it. It does not mean that you are forcing timelines. It does not mean that you are micromanaging the universe and telling it when to show up and what to do. That's not the commanding that we're talking about. You are not an army drill sergeant commanding your troops. Commanding is quiet. Commanding is settled. Commanding is confidence. Commanding is surety. Commanding sounds like, this is happening. I don't need any more proof that I am aligned. I act as someone who expects results. That's the shift. You're not asking, you're assuming. You're not hoping, you're knowing. And you're not negotiating, you are co-creating with the universe. When you command, you stop checking. You stop checking for signs, you stop checking for feedback. You stop explaining yourself and why you want what you want and why you, God damn it, deserve it because you did the work. You don't do any of that. You stop trying to convince yourself or anyone else. You live forward. Living forward means you know that it is on its way to you and you live as if it is on its way to you, not as if you have to keep checking to see if it's on its way to you. Reality will then reorganize itself around you if you are internally decided. If you have that commanding presence within yourself, then reality will reorganize itself around you. So let's talk about this in a practical way. This is kind of a group exercise. And then once we do the group exercise, I am going to pick one lucky victim, one lucky participant to sit in the hot seat and get a little sample of manifestation coaching, which is something that I'm going to be offering in 2026 going forward. But let's start with this group exercise so everyone gets a chance to experience this. So I want you to think of one thing that you want right now. Out of all your hopes, wishes, dreams, aspirations, I want you to think of the thing that is on the top of the list of what you want right now. Not in the future, but right now. Not someday, right now. You got it? Everybody holding that thought? Give me a thumbs up, something over in chat. Let me know. All right. Now I want you to ask yourself honestly, where am I negotiating with this thing or about this thing? Here's some questions. Are you hoping this thing happens instead of deciding that it is going to happen? Are you waiting for the thing to show up instead of moving as if it is on its way to you? Very subtle with that last one. Are you asking instead of choosing? You said you want the red Lamborghini. Do you keep asking for the red Lamborghini? Or do you go to the Lamborghini store and start choosing fabric swatches and paint color and tires and the package that they put on it? Are you asking or choosing? Are you letting go of the desire because it hasn't shown up yet? Or are you staying present with the confidence that it is on its way to you? I want you to think about this sentence. You can finish it silently, or you can write it down on paper if that serves you. I want, fill in the blank with that thing that you said you wanted that's at the top of your list. And I've been negotiating by, and put down what is the top way that you feel like you've been negotiating. Now I want you to flip it and reframe that. This is called pattern interruption. I am no longer negotiating. I choose whatever that thing is that you said you wanted. And so when you go forward out in the big wide world after today, and you still want that thing, the statement that you're going to continue to repeat to yourself is, I am no longer negotiating about this thing. I am choosing it. Fill in the blank, whatever that is. Choosing is a way of internally deciding. And the universe will arrange itself around you when you make that internal decision. when you stop negotiating, when you stop asking. We ask once and then we move into the energy of receiving. Asking is an integral part to the manifestation thing, but many of us ask and then ask and then ask again and then check and look and then ask for a sign and then ask for clarity and then ask. And we're stuck in that pattern of asking and we never move into receiving. So I want you to feel the difference. How does that feel between saying I want and I'm negotiating, or I am no longer negotiating and I choose this thing? It feels different in your body, in your speech, in your energy. So this is where a lot of people get stuck though, because they make the statement, they feel it, great. Oh my God, I'm going to manifest this thing. I just went to this talk and now I'm going to manifest. They feel it, they know it's true, but they get stuck, not because they don't understand the reframe, not because the reframe doesn't feel good, but because their nervous system keeps defaulting back to the old pattern, the old way of asking and negotiating with reality. And for a lot of us, we were taught to negotiate with reality. So we're not just rewiring shit that we've picked up, we're rewiring decades of the way it's just always been. So your nervous system is going to want to default to what feels comfortable and what it's always known. And it's going to be your job to keep shifting it back into, I'm going to choose, and the universe is going to arrange itself around me. This is where reflection helps. Having someone that can mirror back to you and check in with you and let you know, hey, I think you're doing that negotiating thing again, is going to really, really help you. You can do it for yourself, or you can find a partner that maybe you're working together on a manifestation. But reflection is really going to help you move past this moving back into the old set point. This is the kind of thing that comes up. I help people reframe and help them learn how to break those patterns so that they can truly shift into where they want to do, that set point of being decisive, of commanding the universe. In my new sessions that are going to be bi-monthly, you can check those out in a little time. In a little while, it's going to be over in the chat. But I want to close with these ideas. You were never meant to beg and negotiate with reality. You were never meant to hover over your life in a waiting pattern, waiting for permission to live the way that you want to live, waiting for something outside of yourself to grant you the manifestations. We were not here to have someone else give us manifestations. We are literally co-creators with the universe, which means we have an active part in creating our reality and creating life the way we want it to be. And co-creators do not negotiate for what they have already decided is theirs. Now, if something clicked with you today, if something resonated, if something shifted for you, if you saw, maybe if you just for the first time saw in different ways that you're negotiating, that you gave your power away, I want to invite you to let me know over in chat, yeah, it clicked, or give me a thumb up or something like that. Feel free to reach out to me by email if you feel like sharing a more personal message, because I love to hear the feedback on that. And of course, I want to invite you to come to future sessions that I'm having twice a month called Do You Have a Question for Spirit?, where we channel those answers that are most going to benefit you to get you to your manifestation, that are going to show you and reveal from Spirit's perspective, where are you negotiating and how can you stop negotiating? And so I want you all to move out of this presentation and decide that you are no longer going to negotiate with reality, that you are going to decide, that you are going to command, and that you are going to wait until the universe steps in as a co-creator and supports the decisions that you made. All right. So now I want to move into, Kara, please tell me where I am on time.
You have 6 minutes.
Really quick, we're going to do a super fast hot seat. I am going to call on someone. Rosalie, you're just like the first person that popped up. Rosalie, if you are willing to be my victim, please unmute yourself and give me the thing that is on the top of your list that you are trying to manifest.
My new condo. I'm in a holding pattern, but I this is actually curious because I have been told I'm getting it both spiritually and from the people that own it, but I don't know when. No one will give me a time. So that's the big one.
So here's the information that's coming through from spirit, and what is holding you up is the time factor.
Mm-hmm.
You are still not moving as a person who has a condo. You're moving as someone who is waiting for someone to tell you what date you will be able to move into your condo. If you move through life with the surety that I am moving into that condo, the universe will shift and move around you. And I know that sounds very, very easy. Like I just said, the same thing I just said for the last 30 minutes. But let's drill down and get really specific with you, because why? Why are you not accepting that it is yours? There's something else going on for you. And the something else is there's a little bit of doubt in there as far as well, if they didn't give me a date, then maybe something else is going on. Maybe I never get the date. Maybe. The best way to get very quickly to what you said you wanted is to remind yourself that you are creating this reality. I want you to do this. I want you to put your hand up. And y'all, some of y'all that are very sensitive, you're going to have to turn away. I want you to put this finger down. And I want you to put this finger down. And I want you to put this finger down.
Oh.
And I want you to put this finger down.
Yeah.
And this is what I want you to do to anything that is outside your realm, because you are giving too much control. I want you to say, I am powerful, I am sovereign, and I am a co-creator. And if I say it, it happens. And fuck anybody that says it's not going to happen. Because that's where you're giving your power away. You're saying this outside thing has control over what I want to create, and it does not unless you give it control. So that's the one thing that you need to shift right now. You are so magical, and you know you're magical, and you forget that sometimes. And so this is bringing you back into I'm magical and I can have what I say I want. Those are some of the top things that we talk about. Where are your beliefs at? Because if you don't believe that you can co-create reality, then you're going to have a really, really hard time with co-creating reality. So you have to believe that you have the power to call in and say that you want what you want, and that thing is going to show up and that it's yours. And if that belief is solid, then fuck what the world says. It doesn't matter what the landlord says. It doesn't matter what the date is that they give you. It's yours. It's yours, and you need to claim it, and you need to start moving in alignment with it's yours. I have a little bit of time left, Kara.
Yes. Yeah. You have 3 minutes.
Okay. All right, Rosalie, thank you for letting me coach you there. I hope that helped you a little bit. The last thing I want to share is going to Marvel, y'all, because I love Marvel. Thor, y'all know Thor in the Marvel series, and how he's getting ready to fight all of the villains, and he doesn't have his hammer, right? So he puts his hand out. What's the name of his hammer? Somebody put it over in chat. He puts his hand out. I'm just going to call it his hammer. To call his hammer. It's energetically, right? It's magic. It's whatever. His hammer comes, right? But if you have ever watched the Marvel movies, Thor does not stand there like this. He doesn't do that. He puts his hand out and he knows that hammer is coming. And he knows as soon as that hammer hits his hand, he's about to whoop some ass. And he is so confident in his ability to whoop some ass, he's just going to stand there like this for as long as it takes until that hammer hits his hand, and then he is ready to go. That's the way we need to be with our manifestations. He puts that hand out. He knows it is coming, and he knows when it gets here exactly what he's going to do with it. He does not continue to look to see where it's at. He is not worried about the timing of it because he knows it's going to show up exactly when it needs to show up. He doesn't readjust himself. Was I supposed to put my hand up here? Was it supposed to be this hand? He is in complete confidence. He is commanding that hammer the same way we need to command our manifestations. If I say it's coming, it's coming. And when it hits my hand, when it hits my life, when it hits my reality, I know exactly what to do with it. So that's what I want to leave you with. Thank you all so much.